Sick. All right, guys, welcome back to the Cole and Tabor podcast. It is Oscars week, as you know, and this episode is either going to air before or after the awards ceremony. We're not sure. But the point is, we watched all of the movies that have been nominated for Best Picture, and we're looking to talk about those today. Mm-hmm. So,
is your camera in a different spot? Is that why you're looking off?
It is, yeah. Yeah, it's going to be weird.
Yeah, okay, we'll get through.
Yeah.
Yeah, we watched there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in 2 weeks. That's a lie. We watched about 6 for me.
Yeah, 6 for me also.
And the rest we just are going to base off of our knowledge from the previous year.
Yeah, which it's a good way to go. Yeah,
right? Everybody else who's voting on this stuff either hasn't seen them all at all or, you know.
It's a bit like that freaking scene in American Fiction where they're all like reviewing the books to try to, decide which one gets the literary award. Mm-hmm. And they're like, I don't know, I don't want to read them. How do you guys feel about reading 100 pages each or whatever? It's like, I'm sure that's kind of how it goes.
Yeah, you just got to get through them at some point.
Yeah.
But if you're watching movies throughout the year, you can normally get to most of them, depending on... Anyways.
Yeah.
Where do you want to start? Oh, and then we have a surprise. Maybe not a surprise. We're going to talk about a big movie next. So
yeah.
Because you watched that one, right?
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. What movie are we talking about? I'm just kidding. Yes, sir. No, I watched it opening night, and I want to go back already.
Yeah. We're gonna talk about Ryan Reynolds' Ifs. Yeah, that'll be next time, maybe. Okay, let's start with, I guess, the ones that we've already talked. And I guess, should we rank these? What should we do?
That's a good idea. I think ranking them is a good idea.
Okay.
I'll need a reminder of what the 4 that I didn't watch are, like what the 4 I had already seen were, because I was just zoned in on the 6 that I needed to watch.
Right. So, best list. Okay, so we've got the Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, Barbie, Past Lives. Those are the ones you probably didn't watch before. Or no, that you did watch before.
Right, yep, those were the 4. Yep.
Okay. And then the rest are Maestro, Poor Things, Anatomy of a Fall, The Zone of Interest, American Fiction, and The Holdovers.
Yeah.
Pick a name. Where do you want to start?
Do we want to start with the things that I think are dog shit, or do we want to start with the things I have good things to say about?
Let's do one that you don't like first.
Bro, Poor Things.
Uh-huh.
I liked it even less than I knew that I was going to. You remember my resistance to putting that on the list for us to watch, because I was like, I'm not going to like that movie. I liked it so much less than I could have imagined. Dang. I thought this movie was horrible.
Dang.
And it was like, it was pretty, and it had fun set pieces and fun design, and that's all that I can say for it. The story sucked. It was gross. It was so gross, and full time.
Yeah.
Oh, I couldn't stand it, man. I
really liked it. Of course, I definitely want to watch it more to see if that sticks.
Yeah.
But I liked how weird it was. You know me. I like the weird.
And I can appreciate the quirk of it, but for my taste, wasn't enough to save it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Willem Dafoe, though. Willem Dafoe is
perfect.
The guy can do anything.
I liked Emma Stone's gradual change from where she is at the beginning to this realistic I don't know, I guess not realistic because nothing about it is real, but
sure, yeah. Pragmatic or whatever.
Like a pragmatic, but she's growing up as a baby, acceleratedly in a adult body, and I think how do you portray that? And I think this does that.
Yeah.
It's a really messed up movie. There's a lot of stuff where it wants you to think about it, but if you think about it too long, it just makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah, like the fact that the whole movie is 2.5 hours of a toddler having sex.
Exactly.
It's pretty uncomfortable. Yeah.
Yeah, you put those words in it.
But yeah, the way in which it, like, the whole Frankenstein's monster story plays out with her, like, becoming aware of herself and ideas and the world and everything, like, it was well executed.
I think the part where they meet the husband is maybe drawn out. Like, I think they should have done that at some other point.
Yeah.
Because, like, coming back, you think it's about to end, and then it's just like,
right.
breaks. Nope, it's not ending yet. We got one more thing we got to do.
Whole other thing. Yeah. That did surprise me. I definitely thought her, like, arc was like done when she was at the altar.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so there's 10. So we got to do this. Shoot. To
What?
I'm just typing out all the numbers so we can.
Okay.
Go on.
I think next we should go to what was on your shit list.
Okay. Well, first, where do we put Poor Things? Because I'm not gonna put it at 10.
Because we basically have polar opposite enjoyment of it. So
I'll give you like a 7
somewhere
or an
in the
8
middle
because someone has to.
Okay.
We'll go 7.
Cool. 7 sounds good.
Okay, and then I don't know. I didn't really hate any of them. I thought they were all competent movies.
Yeah.
I think if we have to go, I don't know. It's so hard to choose. I think American Fiction for me was probably one of the weakest.
Okay.
Just in my opinion, but
yeah.
Again, it's hard to say because all of these movies are very well crafted.
They're all nominated for Best Picture. It's pretty top tier.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So for American Fiction, I guess I can't even it's really funny, and this is so hard because I don't really have anything bad to say about it. I just wasn't as invested the entirety of the movie.
Okay. Yeah.
Ultimately, but it was really funny. I liked all the characters. As much as you're supposed to like them. It's very tragic in the beginning. It's I think the setup was a little long for me because I was always looking for around the corner. Like, how's it gonna lead into what you see in the trailer?
Right.
And it just kind of takes its sweet time getting there, which for me, I don't know. I was expecting it earlier on. What about you?
So I didn't watch the trailer, but I read the synopsis, and I, for some reason, had it in my head that he was gonna pretend to be a white author, so that like the white-ish like stories that he tells or whatever would sell better. I didn't realize it was like the other way around. He was gonna make different stories so that he could sell as a black author. Well, yeah, it wasn't so that he could sell. It was to point at it. But
to point and laugh, and then he kind of feeds into it a little. Yeah.
I think that like, so Jeffrey Wright, like there are things that I've seen him do where I'm like, he might not be like the strongest actor, but I can't help but like him a lot. Like he's super charismatic. So, and he was, I think, on his game the whole time in this movie. I really like his voice. Yeah,
also
he's got a crazy voice.
Who's his brother again? I like
Sterling Brown.
Yeah, Sterling K. Brown is great as well.
Yeah,
he's
that guy's
very
awesome,
funny.
man. He is. He needs to be in more stuff, and I think he needs to lead more.
So because we have to put it low, what do we put it low as?
Like a 2. I'm just
yeah. Low in the numbers. Because at some point
I don't know,
something
bro.
has to go well.
Yeah. So here's what I'm thinking.
I'll give you
If
8, and then you can take 7.
Okay, that sounds great.
What were you gonna say?
I think I was going to suggest the same thing, if I understand you correctly. I was going to be like, how do you feel about sliding Poor Things to 8?
Okay, American Fiction. Okay, so we got
Yeah, 'cause
7 and 8.
I did like it, but yeah, agreed. I don't know that I could. It wasn't in the top like 2 or
Right.
3, you know.
So, where do you want to put Barbie? Because I know you're shooting for low.
Yeah, for me, Barbie's like, why is it even on this list? Although I felt the same way about Poor Things.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are the only two that, and I think I liked Barbie,
Yeah.
but I don't see it as like a great movie,
You don't think?
and
see
I
it
didn't
as-
like Poor Things. Everything else on this list I thought was at least good.
Right. You know what we're gonna do? I keep making changes, but we're figuring this out as we go along. Let's
Yeah,
just
I
put
like it.
Poor Things at 9. We'll put
Cool.
Barbie at 10, and we'll
Okay.
put American Fiction at 8.
Okay, so we got our bottom filled.
Yep.
I like it.
Yep. Not super happy about it, but you're not going to be happy anywhere in this.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so the number 7 spot. Dude, this is so hard. I think honestly, Maestro.
I think maybe the same thing.
Again,
Which is tough.
there is this image in Maestro, and I want to know if I took a picture of it on my phone.
Okay.
It's where they're first talking it's the night they meet, and then they run away, they leave, and then they go to that theater, and they start doing that monologue, or no, not the monologue, they start doing those lines, and it's when just before they kiss, she's doing that speech, and his eyes are so blacked out, but in like the pupil, you can see like a little hint of light for like just a second. It was it looked very creepy.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't really like catch that moment, I don't think.
It just stood out. But there are a lot
That's
of
cool.
moments in this where, because I like the dancing number. I like the way they used his music to for specific scenes.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that I wish this were a short film, because stylistically it was very I guess it was very steep. Like there was like it was very very full of the style that it was embracing. And for me it was just kind of a lot to make a more than 2-hour movie with. It was like, yeah. And I wasn't interested enough in the like kind of like the proceedings of his life, I guess, to make it worth all that. So that plus the like really thick style, it's almost like something that's like too sweet. It's like, okay, I think I've had enough by now.
I see. I liked Bradley Cooper as the director in this.
I
thought there was a lot of invention throughout. But again, I do think it feels too long at points. Yeah, I just keep coming. Like, I think the parts that make me really like it are the music. Yeah, and they even used that song from the dancing movie.
Yeah.
Anyways. The one
dancing movie.
The one that Steven Spielberg remade recently. West Side Story. West Side Story.
West Side Story.
That's good.
It was. Also, Bradley Cooper was like, I don't know if he's ever going to act anything that well ever again. Like, he was very, very much a different person. It was awesome.
Felt like his best role. And I never watched A Star Is Born, but I can only imagine this movie would be better. What do you have you seen?
Agreed. I have, and he's good in that. He's a good actor. So he kind of always is doing good. But this was something else. Like becoming a different person, like a real person that exists, and becoming them like so well, because it's like it's a pinpoint target. Like if you're creating a new character, like the target is you can do whatever you want. But like someone who exists, that there's like a million data points on them and a bunch of recordings you can go watch or listen to or whatever. It's like you have a narrow target to hit. You have to be that person. And if you're not that person exactly, it like feels off. And he just like was Bernstein, like just so well.
I thought this was also kind of what I imagine if Napoleon went down this route of just showing the relationship, because this movie almost doesn't focus on his music or his creative process that much.
Right.
If Napoleon was just about this relationship, I don't know if it would work, but I think it'd be a better movie than what we got.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
So we're gonna do this one at 7.
I'm sure this fan is probably making my light weird and distracting with all the flickering, so I'm gonna turn that fan off real quick.
Okay. It is on your better, crappier camera.
Oh yeah.
On the one I'm looking through.
That's right. Okay, that'll slow to a stop, and then hopefully.
Okay. What do you think
camera
is?
will look normal.
Was it looking bad on your iPhone too?
Yeah, probably not as bad as this, but there was enough of a flicker that I think it would be distracting at the least.
Maybe artistic.
Yeah.
Maybe we're putting too much style into this. Okay, what's number 6? What?
I'm tempted to say The Zone of Interest.
Okay.
And it's not because it was a perfectly fine movie.
Yeah.
But I think the only reason it has a Best Picture nomination is because it's about Nazis. Like,
I do think
it's the subject matter.
This is the World War II movie of this. Well, I guess no. Oppenheimer is also a World War II movie. So
that's true.
But there's normally like 10 or so. I feel like when we're talking Oscars and Best Pictures.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have to keep caveating, even though we probably still will. All the movies are good. Let's
right.
Well, except for Poor Things for Cole, but all the movies are good. So hopefully we can move past that.
Right.
I keep doing it myself though. The Zone of Interest is. I'll give you that. At 6.
Okay. Cool.
I thought it would be the best movie, honestly, because I thought it was going to be so like unsettling, which it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought the power of what was happening in it would be the thing that would take over.
Right.
And ultimately, I hate saying ultimately now, but at the end of the day, shit. But and while it was good, I just don't know. It just wasn't fully, again, interesting throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, I feel like it wasn't as atmospheric as I thought it would be.
Yeah, I think that's a better way to describe what I'm trying to say. It is that you don't feel as unsettled as you should.
Yeah.
But certainly, like when you're watching them, have like a casual conversation about like gas chambers.
Mm-hmm.
Like that stuff's.
That's wild.
Yeah, to think about, because like clearly they would have to have those conversations, and to make a movie about just how the mundanity of life is still mundane even when coupled with like the most evil things that can happen.
Right.
This is nutty.
Yeah, man. That scene was striking. I ended up having to like look up the company that designed the system, because I was like, these were actually just actual people who were like, we'll build you like what? Just like actual engineers running a serious business, and like they can play ball in that way. Like it's crazy to think.
And the fact that like one of the main conflicts was just like, I don't want to move.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the constant like gunshots that are going off. At first, when in the beginning of the movie, I was like hearing stuff, but my subtitles weren't saying gunshots, or at least I wasn't seeing.
Yeah.
But then it becomes more and more prevalent, and the longer the movie goes on, more and more people are dying in the background, screaming.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's this movie is certainly a lot. It's just not what I exactly thought it would be.
Agreed. Yeah. I feel probably the exact same way.
I do think this movie is probably the most interesting, though, of them all.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about that statement. I think I may slightly disagree,
Okay.
but I get it.
Okay. Zone of interest at 6. Why do they have so many movies nominated?
Right.
Okay. For 5, it's so I want to say Oppenheimer.
Okay, what are the options again?
So now we're down to The Holdovers, Oppenheimer, Anatomy of a Fall, Killers of the Flower Moon, and Past Lives.
I would agree with that. Oppenheimer at 5 sounds great.
Right. Let's keep at least one of the 3-hour movies out of the top 4.
Right. Yeah. Raw thoughts on Oppenheimer. I mean, I know we've been there, but like anything you want to say about it?
I still think it's pretty good. I still think it's probably like the way it's edited and like structured, like timeline wise, and the constant cutbacks. Like it's incredible that it works for me as much as it did.
Yeah.
Early on, I thought it was going to be my favorite movie of the year, but especially after watching all of these, I'm realizing it's definitely not.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I remember having like a slightly less than desirable reaction to it when I watched it. Funny enough, I actually watched it here in Tampa. That came out when I was visiting here last year.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Yeah, and not that I didn't enjoy it. I did. I just I think I thought it was going to be something
Grander.
slightly different. But I think that about 70% of the movie I thought I was going to get was contained within this movie. And, if you take out the last half hour or whatever, what remains is probably 70% accurate to what I thought I was going to get. But it just includes, much more beyond the mark.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a much more that I didn't think added to my experience.
Okay. I don't know. I think is it a hot take to say that I think the last hour of the movie past the explosion is probably my favorite part still?
That might be a hot take. I don't know. I mean, I know several people who liked it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if I've heard anyone say that it might be their favorite part, though.
Okay. But yeah, we'll stick it at number 5, and we'll call it quits.
Sick.
Past Lives. I don't know why I said that, but now
because I think it should go at 4 too.
yeah, I think that sounds right. Again, this was another movie I thought was going to be my favorite, and it's still really good. The most subtle movie on this list.
Mm-hmm. Totally. Yeah, it's just people having very quiet conversations the whole time.
Yeah, trying to figure out everything.
Yeah, it's pretty enjoyable. I think it had one of my favorite characters out of any of the movies we've watched in this session.
The main girl.
Hae-sung.
Oh yeah.
The guy. Yeah, I loved him. He's just I don't know. He's just
very
such
sweet.
A nice dude. Yeah.
Yeah. It's such a complicated movie, but yeah, without relitigating it, I just really liked the atmosphere in that one. The sweetness, the how everyone seemed pretty emotionally competent.
That's right. Yeah.
But yeah.
Including the guy that almost became a cuckold.
Exactly. Including that guy, Haesung.
Yep.
Okay.
Wait, no. What's his name? The
Yeah, the husband.
Because it happened that way.
Right.
Or almost happened that way, rather.
I can't remember his name. It's been too long. It's a movie I'll rewatch.
Yeah.
Okay, number 3.
What have we got now?
Okay.
We've got
Killers of the Flower Moon.
Right.
The Holdovers.
Right.
And Anatomy of a Fall.
I'm going to say my pick for 3 is Anatomy of a Fall.
Okay. We're getting close to the hard choice. Anatomy.
How do you feel?
I think that's fine.
Okay.
The Anatomy of the Fall is the one I watched this morning at like 11, no, like 10 to 12.
Okay.
Dude, I really like this movie. It's so...
Yeah, me too.
So... Like, the nitty-gritty details and, like, the trauma of them dropping that fake body...
Yeah, dude.
while they're on the walk. I mean, luckily the kid can't see, but...
Right, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it was gnarly. Yeah. I love a good, like, murder investigation / courtroom movie anyway. Like, I'm already there. But, yeah, it was good. Had some good stuff.
I like that the movie doesn't tell you exactly what the answer is. I mean, it gives you a pretty good reason to believe in one thing.
Yeah.
But the way I thought it was gonna be like a classic '90s switcheroo, where we get to the end of the movie and they win the case, but then in the final moments of the film, the wife is like,
Totally.
I killed him,
Totally.
and I'm so glad that I got away with it, or something.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. Well, when we're seeing the context of the audio recording that they're playing back, like when we're seeing them begin that conversation, I was like, oh crap.
Yeah.
We're about to find out that she actually did kill him, you know?
Yeah.
I was like, no. But I definitely thought it was going that way.
That conversation was so good.
Yeah, it was.
I think there was a line at the very end where she says something, I think was it to the dog or to the boy, where she's like, it's not always what you expect, or something along those lines, or I think it was telling the audience like, yep, that's the end. Like that's the end of the trial. It's not, there's nothing like big or grand about it. It's just what happened, and now it's
over. Oh yeah, she was talking to
the dog.
Was it when she was talking to her lawyer?
Maybe.
When she was talking about like winning versus losing?
I think maybe.
Yeah, she's like, if you lose, she's like, it's weird because if you lose, it's like the worst thing that could possibly happen. But if you win, kind of nothing happens.
All right. Not the dialogue I was thinking of. Still a good line.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it was just like a throwaway line that she says to the dog as she like
Gotcha.
lays down with him on which.
Okay.
Fucking why'd the boy do that to the dog? Why'd he just ask someone? Like, I get the curiosity there and like just like wanting to know for yourself.
Yeah.
Oh,
that was an uncomfortable scene, seeing that a very, like, I don't know how you get a dog to act like that well.
Yeah.
Like, did they also give him a contact? Like, I just don't. That scene was like, that was a dying dog.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm sure we could find out. But
yeah,
that was a very pretty dog too. Like one of the most unique looking dogs I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty. I want to pet that guy.
Yeah, good stuff. Because I think, like, when I really think about it, there are moments for speaking of the Sandra character, like, how about that chick being in 2 of the movies?
Was she? What?
She's Haas's wife in The Zone of Interest.
Oh, I was.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I was gonna say something about what's the wife in Maestro? I feel like she was in something too, wasn't?
Oh, let's see. This is the one I watched the longest ago.
Carrie Mulligan, I think.
Yeah, Carrie Mulligan.
Could have sworn she was in 2 movies I watched recently. I just can't remember if they're both a part of this. Oh no, she's in that Spaceman movie with fucking.
Oh, dude, is that out already?
It is, yeah.
Did you see it?
I watched the beginning, like 10 minutes. So
Okay,
no.
I really want to go see that movie.
You got it. I'm sure it's
Yeah,
good. I
yeah.
just didn't yet.
Okay,
I started it and then my roommate started it and then I walked away.
gotcha.
Yeah, that's crazy that she's in both of them. I didn't even
Yeah.
realize in the Zone of Interest.
I'm sure she's probably like a big actor in Germany or something.
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard of her because
Oh right,
she
she's
probably
German.
does a lot more over there. But like, how crazy for 2 movies that this not Hollywood actor was in for 2 of her movies from last year to be in the Best Picture nominees. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's a little nutty. And they're
Yeah.
both foreign movies, but also very
Yeah.
interesting because the whole point of this movie is just to dissect the things that we don't know. And
yeah.
I really like that part where they're the caretaker, the
Mm-hmm.
French
Court monitor.
French
thing.
court
Yeah.
monitor and the son are sitting on the grass or whatever outside, and she says something like, sometimes you just have to decide.
Yeah.
That whole interaction, it's just so.
Yeah.
I thought it was a very well made movie. This might
was.
be my favorite of the year.
Oh yeah.
It's
Okay.
either this or one of the other movies we're going to talk about.
Okay. Do you want to put it at 2?
No,
So that
no,
we're
no.
in between.
We're chilling.
Okay. Yeah, very good.
What's the next? What's 2 for you?
I just want to point out one more thing.
Uh-huh.
So you mentioned they're both foreign movies that she's in. Neither one of them is a German movie.
What?
The Zone of Interest is a Polish movie. Like, it
Uh-huh.
was made like in the film industry in Poland,
Okay.
and the other one was a French movie. And like, this German actress is in both. Like, it's just too much of a. It's not
Crazy
even like 2
crossing.
movies from Germany got
Yeah.
nominated, and she was in both of them. It's like even more difficult than that.
Yeah. She just
Anyway,
picks her projects, man.
yeah, man.
The other
Picks them
thing,
well.
what do you think in the Zone of Interest? Sorry to skip back. When
No,
that
go.
scene where he like looks down the hallway and it turns into a museum.
Yeah. Yeah.
And because I assume it's like the Auschwitz Museum or like a
Right.
or a Holocaust museum in Germany or something.
Yeah. Totally. I thought that was interesting. I'm not sure if it made more sense to do like they did and go to that and then go back to him and finish it, or if it would have made more sense to just finish it on that. But I think I liked that inclusion.
Yeah, it
Like,
seemed
kind of.
cutting back to him. It seems like he's almost self-aware of
Sure.
something, of his place in history when it all ends.
Yeah. Huh.
I
That's a
think
good point.
it was good because feels like it separated the movie, because the movie the whole time feels like we're like watching a diorama because of all the locked off shots, and they never move and
Yeah.
they never do anything other than just sit there. Like we're so far away from the movie, from the characters, that it feels all fake.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good insight. I don't think I realized that, but that feels right.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Anatomy of a Fall and those movies. The Zone of Interest, those movies. Anyways, okay, what's number 2? Okay. Are there any before we pick honorable mentions that we think that will rue
Left
the
out.
day that they were left out? The Oscars will rue the day.
I was gonna say if Dune had made its original air date of November,
It'd be on here.
I would watch Dune 2. I would watch it another 10 times back to back, like 30 hours straight without eating, sleeping, drinking, or peeing, I would do that before watching any one of these movies over again. That's the difference, I think, in value between Dune 2 and every movie on the Best Picture nominee list for 2023.
Dune 2 is your best movie of 2023.
Yeah.
I said that too after watching
Came out in 2024, but should have been 2023.
Right? They ruined it for us.
I know.
I'm trying to think of if there's any movies for me. Like John Wick, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah. That's kind of a snub. That one didn't get a Best Picture nomination?
No, it got a Best Animated
that
Feature.
One was fantastic. Okay.
Yeah, I truly think
I think it should have been included.
That one rose above so high over just being an animated movie for me.
Totally.
Just a good movie.
Absolutely.
They're
trying to shunt it into a category that they can, in their like old man, crappy, like formerly relevant artist kind of brain. They're trying to put it in a place where they can make sense of it, which is the same reason you might remember this several years back. They introduced a category that was like, it's just so insulting. It was like achievements in popular film or something like that.
It was just Marvel movies.
A place, totally. It was a place for them to shunt superhero movies into so that they didn't have to consider them for any real awards. Exactly. Like, how crappy is that? And I think in a similar way, like, they're not capable of evaluating something like Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Yeah,
I agree.
They just like, it has to go in a place they can make sense of it.
It was a good movie. Oh, dude, that's another movie that might be my favorite movie. It's so hard to choose. Okay,
Yeah.
I want to say, do we do this at the same time?
Whew.
Okay, let's say our number one movie at the same time. Our number one movie at the same time.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. The Holdovers.
Killers of the Flower Moon.
Shit.
Ooh. Okay.
Okay.
But I think that these were, like, are these your 1 and 2, do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
For me too, for sure. I think that I can safely say I feel like I liked Killers better, but it's not by like a wide margin. Like, these were definitely 1 and 2.
I agree.
For me. So what do we want to do about the? Do we want to have them share the first place spot?
Sure, we can tie them.
Yeah.
The Holdovers. We've talked about the Flower Moon extensively, so maybe we don't.
Totally.
I mean, besides saying that it's a Scorsese movie, it's like a very stylistic, great period piece. For me, it's just too long.
Yeah.
Hard to go back to. Like, when will I ever go back to this or The Irishman? And
right.
And so
yeah,
the Holdovers, though, it was so surprising that by the end of that, it was so emotional, and I think I cried at this and Anatomy of a Fall.
Cool.
In Anatomy of the Fall, it was when he was talking about his dad in that final court interview scene, and his dad is talking about the dog, but he's really talking about himself, and the boy is come to this conclusion, but he already had this conclusion, and it's a lot.
That was nuts. That was real good. What made you cry in The Holdovers?
I mean, I think it's just the end where Paul Giamatti's character becomes so kind. Like, he does one of the kindest things you can do, and just because he believes in that kid.
Right.
So sometimes human kindness takes me off guard, and it makes me want to cry.
Dude, that's the number one thing. Like, if there's something that can make me cry, sad stuff can make me cry too, but like more, probably twice as potent, is like someone doing right by other people. Like, that just feels so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very nice. It's very Oh, well, what was your favorite part of the holdovers?
Jeez. I don't I don't know if I can say I had a favorite part, like in terms of a story point or a moment, but like this kid, this actor that played Angus, kid is a killer, man. And like
Right.
I think any time I got to see him acting in a way that showed like emotional struggle, like all of those were my favorite parts.
I agree. He's great. One of the emotional beats that hit me was when what is Paul Giamatti's character's name?
Paul something.
Paul something. Paul. Okay.
Yeah.
So Paul is talking to that woman that he has a crush on, and then her husband or boyfriend or something comes into the room, and it's just like, man gets destroyed there.
Yeah. Totally.
Oh.
Totally.
Or they have that reveal where the dad's in the hospital, like that shit's
Oh yeah.
tough.
That was, man. And because you're like, I don't know, like, as an adult, you get to a place where, like, you can make sense of most things, and things are still hard, but, like, sort of like anything that comes your way, like, you'll find a way. You have enough life experience that you kind of know where to put it. You sort of know how to work on it or work with it. And you see like he's probably 16 or whatever. See like a 16-year-old kid faced with the reality that like someone who is not in their right mind, but who should be filling the function of like a close relation to you and like a caretaker, like that's something that would be like extremely hard to deal with. And if one of my parents deteriorated like that anytime soon, like it'd be very difficult for me, but like I would know what to do with it. Like they have performed their function as my caretaker, and that's, you know, and like my emotional brain is fully developed, and there's just like, not that any of it's easy, but it would be so much easier for me.
Right.
And you look at a kid who's like, kid is like, you know, his emotions are haywire. He's barely a developing creature.
And he feels like he can't talk to anybody. He feels
Yeah.
like he's alone, and we see over and over again that, you know, people make him feel alone.
Yeah.
And he just
for him
has
to have to
he has nowhere to put those. Yeah.
totally to square with realities that are like hard for like fully developed people to square with when you're 16 and you're in a messed up situation. Like it's so hard to imagine what that is like on someone. I mean, it's hard and it's not hard because we all experienced like rough things growing up, but like each of them are unique to each of us or whatever. But
Yeah. And this movie is very funny. Very funny.
yeah.
Like so genuinely so.
Really is. I loved like all of the stuff between Angus and who's the little crappy kid, the little weed smoker guy that's just always giving people crap.
The like blonde haired.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I loved everything between them.
Loser jock kid.
It was just they were just hilarious, the animosity between them.
What do you think will actually win the Oscar for Best Picture?
Okay, here we go.
Well, what is your... Do you pick the World War II choice in The Zone of Interest, I think? Or the big bombastic Oppenheimer? Or the artsy-fartsy movie everyone's talking about, Killers of the Flower Moon?
I think more likely than anything else, it will be The Zone of Interest. Okay. I think that tends to be how these things go. And not that I agree with it, but that smells like the Academy of Motion Pictures to do that.
I think Maestro or Killers of the Flower Moon. I think Maestro though because it's a biopic.
Yeah. That's a good point.
It's LGBTQ.
Yeah. It's black and white.
It's black and white at some points. It's got that weird aspect ratio.
That's right.
I think,
Actually, yeah, that'll probably actually take it. I think you're right.
yeah. Or I think my hope though is for Killers of the Flower Moon, to be honest, or the
Okay.
Holdovers.
Yeah, yeah. Either of those would be real nice. I'd really
Yeah.
like that.
The world is screaming for Barbie though.
I know. Yeah.
Fine, give it to it. Let's just move on. Well, is there anything else you'd like to say about the Oscars? Are you gonna be watching it?
I'll watch it. I feel like there's just I become more and more disillusioned with them every single year.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I'm gonna watch it, but they're gonna give awards that I don't agree with to people I don't think deserve them, and
Yeah.
But I'll watch it.
And it's gonna be way too long. They're not gonna have a not to this time.
What?
The dance number from RRR that they had last time.
Oh, dude, wait, did they perform that at
Yeah.
the Oscars? I didn't watch last year. I had no idea.
It was pretty. It was probably the best part. It wasn't the actual actors though, so that was kind of lame.
Okay.
Oscars, watch them, and maybe this episode will be out before then, depending on if I get the time.
And if it's not, it'll be an interesting comparison to be like, this is what we picked beforehand.
Yeah, I
and
can't
this is what
believe
really happened.
it's a complete flip flop of the answers. If they actually released how they were voted for.
Yeah, they list them.
So the Killers or the Holdovers knows that they were the least voted movie.
Dude, question about the Holdovers actually.
Mm-hmm.
Is that thing with Paul Giamatti's eye real?
I don't
Do you
know.
know? Because if so, it's very new.
I think it's not.
Okay.
I think. No, it's a contact lens. It's a contact lens.
Gotcha. It was very effective. It really did something for his character.
Yeah, it worked.
Yeah.
Dune 2, the movie that should have been the best movie of last year,
Yep.
will potentially be the best movie of this year.
If people don't forget about it by
Right?
award
That's the
time.
crappy part about it being done in March now, is that its only competition is stuff that's like King Kong and Godzilla, which I am now no longer
Yeah.
excited for.
I know. Still gonna watch it. But
Yeah. What did you think of Dune 2?
boy.
Boy, 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 boy.
Dude, yeah, it's one of those movies where the second it was over, I would have turned right around and watched it again. Like it was just
Dang.
good, just good.
That's good. I watched it way
What'd you
too
think
late to
about
say
it?
that.
Okay,
I watched it 7 at the latest showing we could.
okay,
And I loved it. I mean, it's hard because I think the first one really, I like that one more. This one felt
Okay.
longer. This one's technically shorter, but it felt longer because so much more happens.
I'd agree. Mm-hmm.
But
Totally.
I think the fighting and the battles and the set pieces in this one are maybe this one is better. Does it really matter? I don't know. What do you think?
I think that the diversity of ideas in terms of the designs and stuff, like the creativity, like the new things that are like part of this world that we didn't get a chance to see in the first movie. Like I think there was so much creativity in this. Like I just like the whole scene on Gady Prime, dude. Like I couldn't take it. It was so just like I loved it. Freaking their sun shines monochromatic light and it turns everything under it black and white. Like that's so freaking cool. I've never conceived of such a thing. Like
that was really confusing at first because when they were doing the fighting and stuff, I was like, is their skin color actually white? And then later it was like they're on Arrakis, and no, their skin color is normal. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't expect Dave Bautista to be such a little loser, bro. And then
I
fucking
know.
Austin Butler comes in, and he's kind of a loser too, but he proves
But
himself to be more than that.
he sure does. Austin Butler was great, man.
Yeah.
Freaking true psychopath. Like,
Yeah.
great pick for the character.
Really good.
Just a nasty dude. I also thought it was funny how, like, he definitely, like, how he found his character's voice was to just do his best impression of Stellan Skarsgård as the Baron.
Uh-huh.
Just sounded exactly like him.
Yeah, and Dave Bautista just was yelling the whole time, so.
Yeah. I think Dave Bautista is, like, he's a cool physical presence, and so I appreciated him in the first movie because he was physically threatening in that way. Like,
right,
I was
like,
afraid of him.
They didn't need to do that many prosthetics for him. Like with Stellan Skarsgård, he is one big prosthetic.
Right.
And then with Austin Butler, they completely remove all his body hair. But like for Dave Bautista, it's like that's just Dave Bautista.
Totally. Yeah, give him the opposite of a spray tan.
Yeah, his head just looks like that.
Yeah. So yeah, he's good. He's a good physical presence, but I kind of can't stand when he yells in the movies. Mm-hmm. It's like whoa, okay, like even though your character is nuts, like I think you're overdoing it.
Uh-huh.
Just don't love it.
I mean, where do you start with something like this? The worm writing was so sick every time it happens.
Yeah, it was.
It's so cool.
Uh-huh.
And like that scene where he has to prove himself that he can ride the worm is like when I watched the first movie back in theaters again recently, we got to see that scene early.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but seeing it in the actual movie is better.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet. That one was nuts. Also, when you said ride the worm, I was just like, that sounds like we're talking about breakdancing.
Yeah.
Ride the worm.
It's when two people are breakdancing together, one person pretends to get on top, and the other one does the worm beneath them.
Oh, man. That's good. Yeah, that scene was freaking intense. Man, how often did you feel like you were physically in danger while watching this movie?
Pretty often.
Like, it happened, a number of times for me. And the worm scene was one of them, where it's just like, I feel like I'm lost in the sand. I feel like the rumble that's happening in the ground beneath him and is coming through the speakers and inadvertently rumbling my seat. Like, I feel like it's all happening to me. This wasn't like a 4D or what do you call it, 5D or whatever. This wasn't one of those theaters. It was literally just the sound was so intense that everything was shaking.
But the sound design is amazing in the first one and in this one, and the way the music plays out and enhances it is crazy.
Yeah,
such vision,
absolutely
vision in order to make that work as well as it
totally
does.
Man, that is one of the things about Denis that like I would love to direct films full time like he does. Like, I want to do what he does in a sense, but I don't want to do what he does. Like, I could never do what he does, which is to have a perfectly like curated vision and then like execute it to perfection. Like, I couldn't and would not want to do that, but I'm so glad that he does.
Yeah, imagining what it would take to adapt something like this. It's like everything in it is weird, and you know, reading that book, it's like full of long historical explanations and all this stuff, and like to be able to capture the because it's like Star Wars on crack, because I feel like Star Wars is just a bunch of cool things that don't really make sense if you think about it too long.
Right.
But then the guy who wrote Dune thought about it too long, so until it made sense.
Totally, man. Totally. I'm just going to say, I'm going to out myself as a real weirdo here, but there are occasional stories, especially in the sci-fi realm, like especially when something is set in the future, there are occasional stories where I'm like, I think that person was actually just seeing things. Like, I think they know what's going to happen in 10,000 years, and they wrote it into a book. Yeah,
and you think
one of those things.
This
I think
is
Frank
the
Herbert
future.
was on to something, dude. Like, I don't think that he just created, and I haven't read the books, but I've familiarized myself with some aspects of it by asking
If we make
people
it
who
that
have
far,
read it enough questions.
if we make it that far, I do believe that planets will become kingdoms, and
Yeah.
and that's kind of what they'll be taking over from there. It's
Mm-hmm.
hard to imagine all the other stuff, but like our ships looking like giant beans, that's nutty.
Yeah. I think that the let's see, how do I say this? The specificity and the way in which the story like works internally and everything, like sometimes I think things are just basically like too good for someone to have just like sat there and thought it up. It's like I think that in sitting there and thinking it up, they were tapping into
Something.
accidentally tapping into more information than they realized, and these ideas are flowing, but it's like you're actually just like taking down information from like an
Something
actual
else.
source. Yeah, man.
Okay.
It's too good.
I guess we'll see. We'll see when we get
We'll
there.
see. You and I will see in 10,000 years.
Yep. That's gonna be great. I mean, we'll see if we even leave this planet before it dies.
Yeah,
Gotta
I feel
make-
good about our odds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll get off this planet. I mean, I think we'll do some stupid stuff in the meantime. And we
Right.
may eventually totally do this one in. Maybe not, but we may. But we'll definitely, I think, get off planet before we do that.
We'll figure it out. Humans are resilient.
Yeah.
Bastards, but we're resilient.
Yeah.
What do you think of the trajectory of Timothy Chalamet? By the end, it's almost, completely 180'd where he was this kid who didn't even want to be a ruler, and even in the beginning of this, it's not like he was that's not anything he was trying to do, but the prophecy or the idea of the prophecy took over so much that he had to.
Yeah.
Like all that stuff still, the ethereal stuff doesn't completely make sense to me all the time.
Yeah. I think that the way that I make sense of it or try to is that I think that the prophecies that were fed to the Fremen were like basically the Bene Gesserit, they were accidentally like doing the bidding of fate. Like they thought they were seeding something that was to their own benefit, but just like Frank Herbert was probably pulling down information from some real fountain, like they were accidentally seeding the things that like were coming from a true source, that like it was it didn't matter whether or not it was to their benefit. They thought they were making something up for their benefit, and in reality they were probably sowing the seeds of their own destruction by accidentally working as an arm for fate. So I think that the prophecies, and like they're treated as like in quotes during the whole movie, like probably are just actual prophecies.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way the dude sees. I guess not everything he sees comes true in the exact way that he sees it, but they're pretty specific in that. I don't know. I guess like, is there a holy war when he goes to the south? I guess not immediately. It's just the start of one.
Yeah.
You got to get a lot more
so
books
far
through.
nothing. Yeah, nothing as big yet. I loved his turn inside the that like temple area. It was very much the scene from the New Testament of Jesus being like, this day is this prophecy fulfilled in your ears, or whatever he says when he's like reading from the Torah. And the way they always depict it in films is like he's reading, and all the other rabbis are like, yeah, man, yeah, that's what's up. And then he goes, that's talking about me. And they're like, what? That was like that scene. He just like embraced it. He was just like, it's like, yeah, he's like, I loved that scene. And I loved how intense Timothy was in that scene. He was so good. And I freaking like, I'm like, that's one of the things where I'm just like, oh, like these prophecies are real. Like he's an actual figure that was previewed, and like here he is to fulfill some like tapestry woven on the loom of fate. You know, it was great.
I just, and I get maybe it'll make more sense if they do a third movie, or I can't even remember if it plays out differently in the book. But the way their relationship ends. Like it's not satisfying. Not that it needs to be, but
I'm hoping that's not. Like I'm hoping there's more to it. Like
maybe in the next
more
book
happens.
Yeah,
hopefully,
or the next movie. Because that certainly doesn't seem like the end, and that's probably why there will be a part 3. What do you think of Zendaya, or any of the? Yeah, let's start with Zendaya. Because she actually gets like more lines in this. Sorry, I cut you off.
Yeah, she's an actual character in this one.
Shit, man. I'm sorry, that's my bad. I keep cutting you off.
No, you're good, bro. No, yeah, I thought she was good. I think that her like the cynical stuff that her character is given to say, like, comes out all right. It's not like. She's not like an amazing actor or anything, but like she's par for the course. She's fine, and she's likable, and she was good in this.
I thought she was pretty good. I liked I liked their chemistry together.
Yeah,
they felt like a believable couple to me.
Totally. When they kissed for the first time, like that felt real.
Mm-hmm. She didn't stab him in this one, at least.
That's right.
Like she was supposed to. I like that they bring back Jocks when he's like trying to search for answers, and then he's like, you remember the guy he killed in the first?
Oh yeah, right.
Hakeem. What was it?
No, Jamis.
Right? Yeah,
Jamis
or Jamis. Yeah, when they bring back him, when he's like asking questions, and he's just trying to figure out his place. And what does he say? The trouble of watching like 5 movies in between.
Yeah.
Dude, and now.
Right. I don't remember what he says.
I liked it though.
Me too. It like painted the character in a much more human light, because in the first one he's just because he doesn't end up being the way he sees him in a vision where he's like, I'll teach you the ways of the desert. He ends up being just a guy that's in the way, and that like basically chooses to die, and it's just like hate filled and everything. But I feel like these other glimpses you see of him in Paul's visions is like maybe more true to his soul. Like maybe he had a bad moment, you know what I mean? Like at the end of his life there, but
got caught up in traditions and whatnot.
Yeah.
I thought it was good that we got to see a lot more of Josh Brolin too.
Yeah.
Didn't get enough of him in the first one, and I like that character. Like that character a lot in the book.
Cool.
I wish he played more music in this one though. He does like when he first shows
He's like
up.
a minstrel or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is not the sense you get of him in the first movie. Like I had no idea he was supposed to be that type of character.
Yeah.
He's all into the prophecy and the poetry and the music, and
in the first one he's just a soldier.
Yeah.
It's not like that in the book. In the book he's introduced as like a minstrel soldier, but in this one you actually get to see him bloom into his full thing.
Cool. Yeah.
It was crazy also seeing Christopher Walken.
Yeah.
I didn't recognize who he was until he started talking.
Then it was King Louis, King of the Apes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was weird that he didn't talk like the first 4 times you see him or something, and then
That's right. Yeah.
eventually he does, and you're like, oh yeah, that is Christopher Walken. That is that distinct ass voice that we all know.
I think that when I first heard that he was cast and I learned that he was going to be the Emperor, I think that, like, I don't know, I thought his character would be much more graceful. So I was like, I can see Christopher Walken as 2 things, like completely combed and like perfectly graceful, or Christopher Walken just like wild and weird.
Yeah.
And he was kind of neither of those things. He was just like an old man in this movie. I was not impressed by the Emperor, is what I'll say.
Yeah.
It's just some dude.
Just a guy.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, isn't that all rulers? They're just some dude. Just some guy.
Good point. What do you think of Florence Pugh?
I thought she was pretty good.
Yeah,
I don't think she was...
myself...
I don't think she was in it enough, really, to have like a fuller picture of what she was supposed to be doing the whole time. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think setting her up, if she's like in the next movie, I thought she was pretty good.
Yeah. I think I appreciated her character's contributions to the story, but I found myself like not caring that it was Florence Pugh. And the more of her I see, the more convinced I am that she's one of those cases where like she's just famous right now because she's famous, not because she's particularly good at anything. That's how I'm feeling about her currently.
I've seen her in some pretty good things.
Yeah.
I think this movie does have...
I haven't seen some of her most lauded works, so that I should say that.
I think this movie has a little bit of a too many big faces.
Oh, yeah.
At some points. Well, I mean, the first movie went through this as well, but...
True.
Like, when you recognize everybody in, like, a major role, it's... I don't know, you start to separate them from the world more, for me.
Right. That was one of my favorite things about The Holdovers, was aside from Paul Giamatti, like, I didn't recognize anybody, so this felt so real, you know?
It's the same thing with Oppenheimer, where Oppenheimer was everyone. There was too many bit parts given to people that are not bit part actors.
Right. Yeah.
And then the one of the major roles was given to a director. Benny Safdie was given. Like,
that's right. Yeah, the hydrogen bomb guy, right?
Even though he is,
Teller.
Yeah. But he's an actor. He's more. I think he's becoming more of an actor now. But it's just interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting.
Dune 2 is a good movie.
Good old movie.
I think I do need to watch it more, because Dune only became understandable the more I sat through it and watched the small parts. I like that they brought the mouse back, where they named him after it.
Right, yeah.
But I think
that was fun.
The movie's intricate, and I don't know if I'll ever watch them together, but I wonder if they would benefit from being watched back to back.
I want to do that now.
You got to do it. Yeah. Well, what are you doing tonight? Getting ready to go to Nebraska?
Yeah. Yep, to Nebraska, to my friend's wedding in Omaha, Nebraska.
Right. We got to figure out a different city in Nebraska.
Lincoln, Nebraska.
Okay. Abraham? Is that where Abraham Lincoln's from? Just say yes.
Is that a thing? Yes. Yeah. Oh, Lincoln. I see. I was like, there's a place called Abraham, Nebraska.
Yeah, he was born in Abraham, shipped off to... No, he was born in Kentucky.
Naturally.
Anyways. Yeah, any more thoughts on Dune 2?
Just that... so as I understand it, it is going to be a trilogy, so there is going to be a third one. And just that this trilogy, I think, will be a gift that Denis gave the world that will continue to enliven us for another 100 years. Like these movies are so good by comparison to like all the other stuff that comes out in that genre at this point in time. So like freaking, did you see what the? Of course you did, because we talked about it. What was it called?
Rebel Moon.
I'm pointing at my wall because this is where I project it. Yes, Rebel Moon. Like, what the hell? What the hell was that? In a world where someone can make a movie like Dune?
Dune, yeah.
Zack Snyder is going off and making Rebel Moon?
Well, in a world where people are messing up Star Wars, how did we get Dune?
Seriously, man.
Like, seriously. Truly, I mean, it's this and Blade Runner, it's truly inventive sci-fi that we are just not getting enough of. And it's just because I think the people who are making sci-fi aren't the people that should be.
Totally.
It's people that want to make grand, bombastic things and not interesting, world-exploring pieces.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it really is as simple as that.
That sounded like poetic and like it made sense, right?
It did make sense.
Thanks, bro. Okay, next time. Since this is one, we didn't do this for any of the others. And maybe, how many Gran Turismos? I think it's at least 6. Okay,
Dune 2. I'm saying 45 Gran Turismos.
Damn, okay, off the charts.
It's a good one, man. Off the charts. Can't be measured. It's like the no movie is like without something that I would have changed. Like there's always something. But as far as movies go, this is the only 10 out of 10 that I would give something that I can think of in the last, definitely in the last year, but like probably the last couple for sure.
Okay, so this movie is perfect for you.
Yeah, it's as good as it gets.
I think I need to rewatch it again to know for sure. So next time, let's do all 4 Kung Fu Pandas. And then maybe if you do, it may be Imaginary too.
Okay.
Because I think that'll be funny to talk about. Assuming it's bad.
For sure. Cool. Sounds good, dude.
Okay. Well, that's next time's plan if it gets put in. Other than that, thank you so much for joining our talk on the Oscar Best Pictures. It's crazy to do that, to watch all of them. Hopefully next time I just do it on accident so I don't have to watch as many.
Yeah, keep up a little better.
But thank you for watching. I hope you guys have a good night.
See ya.